Okay, so a few weeks ago, I did this website completely with AI. And if you see here, here's the final website that I've created. And I use Claude Design here, and then I move it over to Claude Code to develop, and then I deploy with Vercel. So I want to go through the exact process on how I build this and the specific things that I changed that AI misses. And hopefully this helps you create your own website better or rebuild your own company's website better. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Oh, if you haven't seen my stuff before, hi, my name is Shay. I run a web agency here in Singapore, and I've built and studied hundreds of different websites and landing pages in the last 2 years. And hopefully the videos I make are able to help you or your team create websites like this, or websites, or rebuild your own website that actually works, that actually stands out. So yeah, let's just jump right into this. So if you see here, here's the first few prompts or first few options. I believe this was probably the first or second prompt, and then Claude Design already created something like this. And before I go into this, to explain the tool stack a little bit, the reason why I go with Claude Design or the whole Claude tech stack, right, is because I think after testing out a few of the other models out there, I think Claude has the best model, and Claude has the best interface. Like having this canvas-like interface here just makes it a lot easier to see what you're designing and edit what you're designing. So that's why I go with this. But honestly, as long as you're using Fable 5 or Opus, I think any kind of interface works depending on what you like. But yeah, so for creating all the new stuff, I always use Fable 5. And for editing, that's when I swap over to Opus. And the development wise, I also swap over to Opus because Opus is cheaper and I don't want to burn all my tokens and credits. So yeah, so coming into here, so this is the first two, or one of the first few prompts, and then he created something like that already. And I'm pretty sure on your side, when you try to create something from scratch, or in the first few prompts, you probably wouldn't get something like this. You will probably get like the standard two-piece layout or the side-by-side layout that AI always creates, and with all the labels or the gradients and stuff like that. It's pretty standard. So to even get to this starting point, the first thing I did was to get a design system. So I'm not sure if you recognize, there's quite a lot of similarities between this and Airbnb, and that's because I used the Airbnb's design system. So I just brought it over. If you see on here, on getdesign.md, right, I just copied Airbnb's design system here, bring it over to Claude Design, and then I just adapt a little bit. You see here, I just changed some of the things, like changed the font, obviously. I changed the display font. Where is the marketplace page? Yeah. So if you see here is very similar to the Airbnb's page, but I changed the display font, and then I changed the layouts. I changed the color, the brand colors, obviously. And yeah, you just want to go on, keep iterating. And if you don't have a design system in place already, I think this is the best way to get started. And this is probably one of the best ways to avoid AI slop right now. So just copy a design system that already exists and just change it from there. And that's the best way to get started. That's the easiest way to get started. So yeah, so from there, you'll be able to get something like this. And sorry, so I forgot to mention, you see this, there's an image here, right? So this is a stock image that I just picked from Unsplash, but originally it was just a blank placeholder like this. So you see here at the back is a placeholder, and that's the standard for Claude Design, because obviously it doesn't have it doesn't have any image generation model or video generation model at the back of this. So you would have to create it on your own, and I'll show you in a little bit how I did it in the easiest way possible. Yeah, just to point that out. For me personally, I think the best way to sort of move forward right now in terms of how people consume is to have the image or video at the background, covering the full entire viewport for the hero section. Unless you have some other kind of tone or some other kind of way of designing, then you can do what suits you best. But for me, I think this is the best starting point, or the best kind of angle for any sort of brand right now, is to use their image or video as the full background. That just makes it a lot easier for people to understand what you're doing, and it just looks cleaner, looks better, looks a lot more polished, instead of having all this white space below and all this 2-block layout. I think these are all wasted space. You could just cover this whole thing up. Anyways, you would want people to obviously see the videos and images very clearly, right? So having it like this is the best way to showcase it. But obviously you want to pay attention in terms of the hierarchy of things, which I'll go through in a little bit. But this was the first generation. I intentionally told it to have the image or video as the background. not one side, not left and right, or not anywhere on the screen. Make sure that it covers the entire screen, entire viewport of the hero. Sorry, yeah. So let's see the other options we have. Right. So the next thing I did was the hero spec, because I wanted this scrolling kind of effect. You can see behind the video, right? I want to showcase whether it's possible to do like a scrolling video kind of thing. And obviously I don't want to, okay, not obviously, but for me, I didn't want to create the whole animation, the whole interaction directly on Claude Code, on Claude Design, because I think when I hop over to Claude Code, I would still have to do the animation there again. So I don't want to waste all the tokens. So I just want to create it in a way where it's easily communicatable. Claude Design can easily communicate what it wants or what I want over to Claude Code, so that Claude Code can immediately launch and get started without me prompting it further. So that's why I got Claude Design to create something like this. I just ask it, okay, I want this kind of animation. You can pull in a reference if you like as well. I want this kind of animation, and just help me build it. And you don't have to put in the images, don't have to put in the timestamps and all that. No need. Just make it easy to just present it in a way where when I send it over to Claude Code, it's easy for Claude Code to understand. So, and it created something like this, which I was super satisfied with. I think this is a great start. And yeah, right after this, you can see it already started to create the rest of the plan. Like this is the choreography, and you can see all the different timing and stuff as well. So this is great. I'm sure Claude Code would understand exactly what it is. And right after that, I got it to create the other screen. So if you can see here, I come back to the homepage. So this is when I was like, okay, let's just build the entire homepage. And then once the homepage is cleared, then we can move on to the other pages. So yeah, then you just slowly create all of this stuff, and then I slowly nitpick on the things that it misses. So some of the things that I'll pay attention at is the margins, the spacing, the margins, and the consistency on the way they use things. So the good thing about using a design system, going back to my point earlier, is that once you have a design system in place, all the spacing, all the margins, AI will immediately get it. AI will immediately understand that, okay, this is other margins, I have to stay consistent to these margins. Because I'm pretty sure if you just prompt it without a system, prompt it without any guidelines, the spacing and the margins will get off every now and then. And it just gets a bit tedious because you have to go and spot all this stuff and then ask AI to change it, because these are the kind of small details that will show your audience that you care, show your audience that you're actually proud of this work. And it just makes the whole experience, just gives your audience more confidence that you will be able to help them and show that you actually care about the things that you're putting out and stuff like that. So yeah, at least that's the angle that I want to go for, and make sure that all these kind of consistency is kept. Oh yeah, and one thing I missed out, which I noticed here, is that you see when I scroll down the sticky, it's covered by the top. So yeah, these kind of things you would have to manually go and look out. So it's the small details that AI often misses, and these kind of things will cause a lot of problems, obviously, right? If they can't see the price when they scroll down, it's gonna cause a lot of problems. So yeah, you definitely want to go and spot all of this stuff. So the measurements, the consistency, the layering, the hierarchy. So these are the key things that I'll definitely look at and spot every single page. Especially, so depending on how big your site is, the more kind of tedious it will be. Okay, so originally for this nav bar, right, there's quite a few other things that are on the nav bar, and it was quite like, okay, if you see here, right, okay, so if you see here on the nav bar, there's quite a few things going on. Like there's this new that's covering the word, and then some other buttons here, and then I don't need this drop down as well. It doesn't really make sense on the desktop screen. So I knew I needed to change all of that. So I slowly moved everything one by one, and this is what the final look is. And these are the things that you also have to look into. Make sure that the alignment is right, and making sure the usability is working as well, to make sure that people can actually see what are the things that they are going to click on and the options that you give them, because you don't want to overload them with options. Only when they indicate interest, like when they hover, that's a form of indication that they are interested to move forward or want to find out more. Then you can give them more options. If not, then you probably don't want to overload them with different options. So for the creating of images and videos, for me, what I did in this project, I just go to Google AI Studio and just create an API key, and I just give it to Claude Code, and then get Claude Code to help me create the images. So as it's developing everything, it's also creating the images with Google VO3, Google Nano Banana, and just bring it over and just filling up everything on its own to be able to create all the images and videos you see here. So that's the most seamless process that I've ever experienced in my life. Like you see all these images as well. It's super clean, super nice. So that's the easiest way to create all these images. And the thing is, when you give AI all the context, it's probably better to just let AI handle it, because it already has the context. It already knows what is the best suited kind of style in the whole kind of design. So you can let it handle all this stuff first, and then once it comes back with all the changes, then you can go ahead and edit them slowly one by one to make sure that everything is clean, everything is consistent. Oh, one more thing. So I'm not sure if this will be helpful for you, but on Claude Code, one of the key things that I struggled with was telling AI the kind of animations I want. So if you see here, there's this load-in animation of the background zooming in and the text fading up, and it's kind of consistent with all the other pages, right? So this was really hard to do for some reason. I'm not sure why. I think because AI just couldn't understand I couldn't find the words to communicate with AI the kind of images or the kind of effects that I want. So after I was done, after a lot of back and forth, I asked AI to give me a prompt that when I start every new session, if I give it to you, you would immediately understand the kind of animation that I want. So if you're interested in something like that, I'll leave like a link below and do a Notion page with the link with the prompts there. And yeah, then you can check it out and see if that's something that you're interested in. And hopefully that'll be helpful. And yeah, that's about the things that I want to go through today. And hopefully this helped you in creating your own site. And yeah, thanks for reaching to the end, and see you soon. Hey.